Welcome to the newest installment of the Untitled Film Nerd Project. My name is Philip, and joining me as always is Ginger.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about The Hole in the Ground. Before we get into it, spoiler warning now! If you want to avoid spoilers, skip ahead to the time code you see on the screen. Alright, so let's get into it.
And what did you think of it?
Short and sweet. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you realize that this was an A24 production, and compare this to other A24 movies like Under the Skin, The Vavitch, and freaking Hereditary, and I like it even less. There was something here, but it never had a chance to develop into its own movie. It felt like a Frankenstein kind of thing. Not the story, but the way it was pieced together. It felt like a half dozen movies at once, but was directionless. And in the end, there was no like bolt of lightning to give this any life. It had potential, but didn't come close to realizing it. What about you?
I'm going to mirror most of what you said. I think this movie was absolutely gorgeous, but it was very much like what you had said. It was almost a certain genre and almost another certain genre.
Right, yeah.
And the two genres mixing together, it just didn't mesh well. Overall, I mean, I was still entertained. And overall, the movie had a completely good, creepy atmosphere. But that's about all that I had going for it.
Right.
So,
right.
So yeah, I'm gonna agree with what you said.
Okay, cool. All right, so there was some stuff that I liked. I mean, it was in Ireland, so Irish accents, yay. I like the opening camera work with the title.
Oh yeah, that was an absolutely gorgeous title card.
Yeah, it was inverted. So the hole in the ground was like the road going to the sky. That was fucking genius. I loved it. I appreciated that the backstory with the dad was left ambiguous. I was waiting for him to show up the whole time. I love the idea / visual of people with their heads buried in the ground.
Yes. Yeah, that was really creepy and fucked up.
Yeah, and if this film were presented in a better way, that could have been their iconic shot that helped solidify this movie. And then when she was crawling underground, I said to myself, please don't crawl into a creature's stomach. Please don't crawl into a creature's stomach. I won't spoil the movie, but I'm still fucking traumatized.
Yes.
All right, that's all for me. What did you like?
Like what I touched upon earlier, the cinematography was absolutely gorgeous. I loved a lot of the sprawling overshots, the overshot of the actual hole in the ground, the scene at the talent show. Which wasn't really much of a talent show; it was more of a play. Yeah, that was really good and effective on the creepy scale. And the mom. Okay, so I'm going to say that she did a good job at playing terrified. However, I'm going to touch upon that and also what I didn't like.
Me too.
We're going to get back to that.
Okay.
And that's about it. Yeah, like what you had said, the actual heads buried in the ground. Yeah, super effective on the creepy scale. But yeah, that's it. What didn't you like?
Well, there was a lot. So I'm going to go on another one of my little ranty things here. So bear with me. What could have been improved? The script. The characters were written horribly. There was literally zero character development. And that is not an exaggeration. This has to be the stupidest mom I've ever seen. Oh, my son isn't in bed, and I hear crazy banging downstairs, but I'm just going to stand right here for 30 seconds instead of doing anything. Oh, creepy shit is going on. I was woken up in the middle of the night, and crazy old lady's probably going to kidnap my son or kill him, but I'm just going to go ahead and take these sleeping pills. Oh, my kid pushed a kitchen table full force into me. Better go take a bath. Oh, my descent baby finally succumbed to the sleeping pills, and even though he just tried to bury me alive, better just sit him on the floor. Wouldn't want to tie him up or anything. Oh, I just rescued my son from like the mimic descent. Let me leave him alone outside while I go back inside.
Yup.
Overall, the mom didn't feel like her own character, but rather like an avatar for the audience to zombie walk us through the plot from one jump scare to the next. And she had one fucking expression. She was essentially Irish Kristen Stewart. So aside from dumb mom, there were specific parts I didn't like. I'm going to put this camera in the wall to record my son, and somehow, even though the batteries would only last an hour at best, and he saw me looking that way, he's not going to notice it and just show himself as his real self almost immediately. What self-respecting teacher or friend would just drive Chris back home and leave him there alone with the woman who literally just said, he's not my son? Do they not have child protective services in Ireland? Seriously? The scene where she was grabbing her own arm in The Descent, it wasn't necessary. We got the point from the mere scene alone. Plus everything else we kind of already knew. I mean, it was one of the better moments, but I still felt like it was kind of unneeded. There was zero attempt to build up any doubt. And it had an easy out with the mom's scar. She could have been suffering from like a concussion-related incident that is now rearing the side effects. Hell, even the title of the movie is basically a mediocre prop and not a plot device like it should have been. Number one, it should have been called The Crater in the Ground. Number two, there was never any attempt, again, zero attempt to even reference it. We usually get that person who found thing asks around about thing and gets exposition dump on thing. We didn't get that at all. It wasn't important to the story unless it was another lazy way to get from point A to point Z. Her automatically just knowing to go there? Why? Because you stood by it one time 45 minutes ago? But his toy was there. Okay, it was in the woods. He could have been buried headfirst anywhere in the woods. But somehow she knew to go to the hole in the ground, the crater in the ground. She had no reason to go there. Nothing points to it being anything more than a sinkhole, other than the try-hard music selling us on its creepiness. And then she goes inside the fucking thing. I'm sorry, but if Lovely Bones taught me anything, it's that she's dead. Also, how the fuck did she get out? And why wasn't her first thought, pour a lot of fucking concrete into that hole? And finally, I referenced it a few seconds ago, but the score was far too heavy-handed. It kind of proved that the movie didn't have the plot to back up anything it was trying to do, because instead of building real suspense on the screen, it just relied on the music to take the lazy way out. Every single time. This was the feature-length directorial debut of Lee Cronin, who also co-wrote it, and you could absolutely tell. Fancy camera work does not a good movie make, and you need to direct your actors. And it's even more telling that Vavitch and Hereditary were also feature-length directorial debuts. Okay, I'm done ranting.
Okay.
What didn't you like?
Much of what you had said, what I had kind of referenced earlier as far as the mom goes, is that, like I said, she did a good job at playing terrified. It's just, even from her very first scene of the movie, she was playing terrified. Yeah. And you kind of touched upon it, where it was the same look all the way through. So yeah, definitely that. And yeah, like you said, this is one of those times where I wish there would have been much more exposition about the hole in the ground. Because even when she was at the dinner party with the random group of friends and they were talking about the crazy lady, I'm like, are you not going to mention the giant ass crater you found out of the woods?
Yep.
Any chance? Because
Nope.
I know I would.
Right?
That
Yeah.
shit ain't normal. So, and then also, as you were saying, like, this movie could have definitely had benefited from much more mystery.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's much of it that I was questioning whether or not she was actually going insane.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
head trauma. But the moment that the kid threw the table at her, all mystery was gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, much of everything else I mimic.
All right. Well, all things considered, would you recommend it?
Yes. Still, there are some friends of mine that I know would like it. And then there are some other friends I would not recommend it to. So, it's 50-50.
All right.
And you?
Nah.
Nah. Okay.
All the movies it tries to stitch together into one are all much better. Like The Descent, Babadook, The Hallow is a better Irish horror film. The Changeling, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, these are all better, and it tried to be all of them. It fails as a psychological film. It fails as a horror film. Therefore, it fails as a psychological horror film. Do not waste your time on this. There is much better Irish horror out there. Anything else you would like to add?
Nope.
Okay.
I think that is it.
That wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, share it with your friends or cool people who might dig the Vizcast. And please subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the newest content. And there is a link in the description below for the Patreon that covers all of the creative endeavors. So please consider showing your support. And until next time, my name is Philip.
And I'm TJ.
We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.